Yeah, I never. So my current job right now, we have a lot of, how do I put it, resources, and a lot of them have been about just team leading and project management, which I'm already trying to get into more of, anyways. So I've been trying to be very aware of the way that I'm treating everyone on the team.
Gotcha. Well, I don't think you're doing a poor job whatsoever.
Thank you. Are you able to see if the stream is up right now, just so I kind of know?
I'm trying to make my way to the Conqueror Reign of Madness, uh, the Creative Mob um, channel. It
Gotcha.
seemed to have signed me out of Twitch on this computer.
Mm.
It says you're live though.
All right, then I guess that's good enough. Oh wait, does it? I don't have it where it says how many people are watching. Can I? I can probably just pull that up on my phone, honestly, and that way I can see chat as well. Okay. Let me actually pull this up. So let's see, media links and Twitch. All right, just so let me see if there's anyone actually kind of chilling out with us right now. 3. All right, so that's you, me, and one other person. So I guess we should just get started into it. Hello, anyone that either watches this live or watches this in the future, because VODs are a thing. Thank you for tuning in to our community stream, our monthly update. One thing you're going to notice right off the bat is we have a new stream background, which has been made by one of our awesome on-team member, Logan, who's done an amazing job with getting this to work. There's another version that unfortunately is only an MP4, but yeah, so far I think it looks great. Let me pull up everything. So, as far as actual, my brain is fried. I apologize. Let me go ahead. Let me just pull up. So we're just going to dive right into it with what we have for the community update, because I know people like going right into it. I'm not even going to read that. So let me quickly adjust it so it looks decent. But this is, wow, that is very stretched. Oh wait, it's not. There we go. So that is going to be what the Conqueror looks like. I know that a lot of people have been kind of asking about, what's the visual style we're going for, and even though we should stop referencing it, so it is very much like Overlord, but different. One of the things that I tasked the team with was, especially because a lot of people were not familiar with our game or with our source material joining our team, was how, and a lot of people who play the game know this, how stocky and how rigid our man moves in the actual game. So, excuse me, with our main character, one of the things I wanted to go ahead and make sure was that we have a character that looks like they can go ahead and move around a bit more and is going to be more mobile. Someone who doesn't walk like, they're, sore in both legs all the time, to put that kindly, because there's probably a lot worse ways I could have said that. But we've been trying to do a lot, and while my brain recovers, Jack, can you take over for a few minutes just so I can get my thoughts together?
Yeah, sure. I hope everybody can hear me here. Initially, we kind of pulled together some core values for what we would have expected for the protagonist, or really the vessel for our narrative to look and feel like for the players. Coming to the conclusion of this concept art that you see here, this kind of final asset design for what the Conqueror will look like, um, was ultimately like a melting pot of these themes and choices that we had to make. We wanted intimidation, we wanted ambiguity, we wanted player expression, but in a sense of freedom for your own narratives that you would tell yourself. There's something about the way the Conqueror's helmet looks and the eyes behind it that glow and the build of the Conqueror that lend itself to being, potentially any race of the world, despite what the narrative might tell you otherwise. And I mean, ultimately, it's supposed to come off as this powerful, capable, strong individual that is also both agile and nimble in combat. Someone who could switch up between uh, different abilities or different aspects of warfare and battle, that wasn't always the hulking tank that you expected to knock down the door, yet you know they're capable of doing so.
Yes, that's a very good point. And this actually leads into one of the questions that we got for this month, being, is the Conqueror a male or a female? And after some conversations that we've had within the team, we have decided that we're going to go with a more ambiguous character. Just because I think, especially with the way that Overlord was, I know we shouldn't be talking about it, but we have to reference our source material. A lot of people, especially nowadays, through talking to team members, through talking to community members, through just seeing the way that the world is nowadays, find that behavior very sexist. And, that's not something I can really fault anyone for feeling. It didn't really age that well. So we want it to be less of, this hulking man just, capturing women and, forcing them to be with him. That's not something that we feel comfortable with pushing. So that, and it also kind of opens up the way that the player kind of imagines how the world works with some of the things that we have planned. I think having that non-concrete answer really leads to, the community imagination kind of taking over and seeing how things work. So it's a place where, yes, there's some logistical reasons, but also for some creative reasons as well, why we decided not to gender the main character. And that also doesn't lead into the second question that we got, but I'm going to answer it anyways. And that question is there going to be controller support? Yes. I have already been talking with our lead designer, and I've also been working on it myself even before he joined, to go ahead and make sure that we can have this on controller, because unlike an actual console release, we don't need a dev kit for it. Unreal actually has some really good integration for controller support already, and at least from the people who've played, Overlord and other ones before, you kind of know that unfortunately playing on keyboard and mouse is kind of horrible, at least compared to the controller, because Overlord was actually a game originally designed for the consoles and then was ported to PC sometime after. So there's a reason why it doesn't feel that great. And also, I'm just someone who, I love controllers. I grew up with controllers, so even regardless of, other feedback, I wanted something where when I play a game, I look for games that have controller support. Not saying I don't play games that don't have it, but for me, that's definitely my preferred way to play. So that's one of those things where, as a developer, sometimes you have to cater to yourself a little bit. So, and then also, I don't have the Twitch chat up. That is my bad. I had it up and then I closed it because I was a little bit on autopilot. So let me open that back up in case there's anyone else that has any questions that they would like to ask us while we're live. We don't plan on staying live for too long today, just because both Jack and myself have things that we have to do post stream. So I'll give people a couple minutes. If they want to go ahead and ask a question, they can. Or if you guys just want to chill out and enjoy the art, I know I very sloppily kind of posted our main character, our Conqueror, on there, but that's because I I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, and I didn't think to talk to our artist about making it look really nice and pretty, and I apologize for that. So that's going to be clear all this stuff out. I mean, it seems like we're not getting any questions, so again, we'll stay open for a couple more minutes, so people can catch this afterwards. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that is important to talk to the community about at this moment. I'll touch on it because we're here. For people who have gone to the website and have kind of noted how hard it is on the eyes, that is something that we have seen, and that is something that we're working on. So hopefully within the next update or so, we'll have that prepped. Maybe not for this coming update, but hopefully for August, we will go ahead. We'll have something a bit easier to look at for everybody. So, and we'll make a big deal. We'll make a big announcement about that, and we'll also probably retroactively fix all the other ones as well. Oh, we got a couple more people in here. Cool. So, hello everyone that hopped in. You missed the big stuff, but basically, here's the Conqueror. If you have any questions, now's the time. The character is ambiguous, and we do plan on having controller support. Seeing those were the 2 questions asked. If you have any other ones, now's the time. I'm probably going to wrap it up in like 10 minutes, maybe less, depending on, interactions and stuff, because we both got stuff to do today. And then, yes, this VOD will be available on Twitch for a little bit after, because I think Twitch auto deletes like a week after, and then it'll eventually be on YouTube. Thank you, Viper. Our lead artist took the concept that we originally had and cleaned it up. I'm very proud with the work that he has put in, and that is something once we go ahead and publicly release the community update, you'll be able to see the evolution that the Conqueror went through. Because while not extremely different from what was originally envisioned, there was definitely a glow up that happened, and we try to keep it as much as we could while still expanding it, and also making sure that's something that can translate well to an engine. Oh, that is a good question. Are the skulls on the belt and shoulder the kobolds? That's a very interesting question, and I think time will tell. I don't want to spoil too much, so we'll see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would like also to get and tell the community while we have a very easy and open way of doing so. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything too crazy that I can reveal that we haven't already answered, or that wouldn't be spoiling too much at this point. Although from what we have planned, will the Conqueror have different color schemes as well? I know that probably takes a lot more time to do. That is a very good question, Viper. That's actually something that I haven't really talked to the art team about too much. That's something that I'll bring up to them because I know, just even stuff as simple as, because I'm guessing with color schemes you're mainly referring to like the cloak, especially seeing that our successor or what we're following up had it with Overlord. So I would like us to be able to do so, but also, as you kind of mentioned, that is, a decent amount of resources, and I want to make sure that we are in a place where everything else is pretty polished before we go ahead and worry about that, just because I'd rather have, if we get to that situation, I'd rather have everything else look really pretty in just one color versus, we have like 8 different colors, but everything else is like very underwhelming. Right. No, it's not too much of a spoiler. Now, I'm guessing you are referring to types, Viper. At this point, we do plan on having 4, again, because we want to make sure that we're pretty in line with what was established. And again, just through original conversation and through a design conversation, it seems like we don't really have room for much more at this point. But yes, we are planning on 4 different types. As for how many you can actually control, that is something once we get an engine and we're a bit closer to having everything kind of working, we'll kind of test the limits of low to mid range PCs just to see how many they can go ahead and hold. Because it's one of those things where I would rather support a low to mid end PC and then just have it not chug or lose a whole bunch of people who may not have great PCs. So yeah, but yeah, that is something we will be actively figuring out. Hopefully we can get, because I know Overlord, at least the first one, I have more familiarity with the first and the second, had probably about like 50, maybe 50 plus you can control. Ideally we can hit that number, but again, it's really going to depend on how well Unreal reacts to having that many on screen. A concept of a troll or a bigger entity. That is something that is interesting. Uh, at this point, I don't think we would be able to. I mean, we might be able to implement it. I don't think we will be likely to, although that would be a cool idea. But if we are successful enough to have a sequel, I think that'd be a very interesting idea to go ahead and further develop.
Tim, I've got a hard out here at 5 p.m., so I'm gonna go ahead and hop out.
All right, thank you for starting out with me, Jack, and for taking over when I need to kind of figure some things out mentally, not overwhelm myself.
No problem. And thanks everybody for stopping by.
And then yeah, I'll still be here for another 4 or 5 minutes. So yeah, if there's any other questions that you guys would like to ask, we have a couple more people now. Now would be a good time to do so. And again, the community update will probably be live maybe tomorrow, just because we have to polish it up. And then, we'll not only message it in our Discord, we'll message it on the social media that we use. In 2 you can get up to like 68 minions with that. Yeah, because I remember people modding the first one, getting to like 70, and that really chugged it, but I don't think the engine was meant for that. I mean, Unreal 5 is significantly more powerful than... I'm trying to remember what engine they used. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's more powerful. But also, one of the big things I've talked to our designers about is we need to strike a balance between having the Conqueror be useful and having the Kobolds be useful. Because even if you can summon 100, it's like, okay, are the 100 really necessary? Is it going to be something that just bogs down the system? And if it's necessary to have 100, it's like, how useful is the Conqueror really? Either way, I think there is going to be a disconnect there. So, yeah, it's not going to be a crazy amount. Because, that's one thing that even for the regular games, and I've seen other people who kind of debate this, talk about this, is I like having the character, because I always thought the actual Overlord himself was a little, underwhelming to say the least. Like, I get you're supposed to be an all-powerful character, but to play without... Yes, weak is the perfect word. Because even in my personal playthrough, I've been doing of Overlord, mainly for research, but also because it's been a while since I played. Playing without the minions is very slow and frustrating, because you have to kite them so much, or you have to do a lot of hit and run. That's not something I'm particularly a fan of, especially if your whole thing is world domination, but you can't really do much outside of that. Like, yes, exactly. Someone who understands the way that I feel. Because I know some people have talked about it and they're like, oh, no, it's no problem. Just like play with it. It's like, no, that's not fun. That's kind of frustrating and lame, I'll be honest. Also, I think that was just Discord closing me out from not having being in a voice call. Yes. Yes, that is one thing we're hoping for, is to have a perfect balance. Yeah. Yeah, actually, when I just checked, it was 3 minutes. I think Discord lowered the time on it. All right, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everyone that was able to go ahead and join us. And if you joined in late, like I said earlier, there's going to be VODs. It's going to be on Twitch for maybe a week or so. And then after that, it'll be on YouTube, where you can explore it at your heart's content. But hope everyone has a good day for the rest of their day. And Helmet makes me feel like the Conqueror might be part Kobold Law. That would be a very interesting idea.